This is Ace at the Plate on WCWPSports.org.
Oh, the mic. There we go, the mic. What was going on with that? But I fixed it. So we're going to be here today. It's going to be great. It's actually, I believe, it's going to be me and Joe today, though I haven't gotten confirmation that Doug is going to be here. I think he said he would make it in time, but we haven't heard from him. Then again, I haven't really reached out. I know for sure Joe's on his way, and today is going to be an amazing show. We got tons of news, and, this is just going to be great. So, because the reason why I'm speaking like it's going to be like, oh, this show might not have happened is because, well, today is President's Day, so the station is closed, the school is closed, there's no classes today. So, but, I didn't know this, but you could get put on a list, okay? And if you put on this special exclusive list, not to toot my own horn here, but I'm on this list because, I run a show, and I was like, could I get on the list? Could I do the show today? Because I really wanted to, and here I am, and here we are. And without further ado, let's get into the news. So I got a few stories here. I'm really digging these stories today. And there's a few more I want to pull up, but I want to just get right into it right here. According to Joel Sherman of the New York Post, there's another MLB type-esque rule change, but it's not a rule change. It's just something that they want to start enforcing across all stadiums. It's not anything too big, but it's just something interesting. So they want to have the home teams go second. Okay, so basically not go second. Let me elaborate more. So when you go to a stadium, okay, you go to Citi Field, of course, that's my stadium of choice. You're going to have the visitors take their batting practice second. You're going to have the home batting team. Usually they're going to take their batting practice first because it's their stadium. That's just how it's been. That's just how it is. But MLB, Rob Manfred, apparently has, maybe it's not Rob Manfred in particular, but Joel Sherman, I believe he works for the Post, has said that MLB has expressed that they're going to want the home team going second. Because, and this is going to be quote now, by having the home team hit later, the hope is that more fans would come early to the ballpark to watch, which in turn could increase concession stand sales, plus help with the flow of spectators coming into the ballpark. The benefit for the players, in theory, would be that for 81 games, they could stay a little longer at home with the family before having to travel to the stadium. However, it would mean visiting players would be in the clubhouse longer, and in general, the amenities in a visiting clubhouse are not nearly as good as home. So come on in, Joe. This is gonna be a great show. I was just telling the audience. You can sit wherever you want to sit there. I'll put you on. So what I was talking about is now that it's President's Day. I was saying that we couldn't get in before, but I got us to get in. But what's great is, and I want you to hear this. I want your opinion on this. Since Joe, you go to about 20 games a year, right?
20 games, give or take. Well, so, I went to 20 games last year. That usually doesn't happen.
So there's another change.
Say 15 to 20.
There's another change, but it's not like a big rule change. It's just something that MLB wants to start enforcing across the teams. Mm-hmm. So, and I don't know how you're going to feel about this. I just read this, but I want to hear your reaction. So, MLB wants the home team. You know how the home team usually does BP first? They want to change that around.
I'm absolutely down with that.
Okay, and here's their reason, okay? By having the home teams hit later, the hope is that more fans would come early to the ballpark to watch, which in turn could increase concession stand sales, help with the flow of spectators coming to the park, but also it could benefit the players because for 81 games, the home team, they could stay a little longer at home with their family before having to get to the stadium. I don't know about that.
Yeah,
but however, it would mean visiting players would be in the clubhouse longer, and in general, the amenities in a visiting clubhouse are not nearly good as home. So really, are you? I don't know.
I don't think it makes a difference.
I don't think
honestly.
it makes a difference, but this is the type of thing where they want that.
Let me just add this. at Citi Field, they don't let fans until 2 hours before first pitch, so they don't let fans until 5:10. So by the time you get into the ballpark and by the time you get into, left field seats, right field seats, wherever you want to go for batting practice, the Mets are done with their batting practice, and you're either watching the Nationals or whoever the away team is, and it's not as fun. So I think if the Mets were to hit second, and you were to see all your favorite players and ask for order, I think it would just be better for the fans.
I mean, that's what I think it is. And by the way, since you go to a lot of games, do you make it in time for batting practice? Are you a guy that goes, it's an experience, right? It's fun. You could get a few BP balls. I know that they hit them and people go running into the stands for them.
Sometimes I just get there at 6:30, but sometimes I like to get there at 5:10 and watch batting practice a little bit.
Okay.
But it is a little disheartening when you get out there and you don't see the Mets, you see the away team. It's I think it would be better for the fans if they were to see.
Because let's get real, I would say most fans miss BP. Most fans,
but a good amount do come.
Oh no, a good amount. But I'm saying most fans miss BP. I mean, they just roll in late. I mean, some people just come in at the third inning. I mean, some people are late. Yeah. But I'm just saying, this is just something. This is one of their ideas.
I don't think it's a terrible idea.
I don't think it's a bad idea. No, I think this is one of the ones where we have to agree on it, and we have to go, no, this isn't bad. So that's something that
because at the end of the day, it's all about the fans.
Yeah, I mean, it is about the fans and concession sales. They say
the fans pay these players' salary. That's where the money comes from.
Yeah.
So
okay.
I don't think it's a bad idea. Actually, I actually like that.
And speaking about rule changes, the head of the Major League Players Association, or not the head, but one of the executive directors, it says here. I don't know if that's the head, Tony Clark, literally was laughing at the 9th inning rule, the 10th inning rule. Mm-hmm. He was like, "It's never happening.
The runner on second.
He's like, we're never agreeing to it, and stuff.
Well, like that, a fan. I was listening to Francesa. I was listening to the Pope.
Oh, this Pope, yeah,
the other day, and a fan called up, talking about the potential rule change, and Mike Francesa actually said it was silly.
Yeah,
said it was silly.
It's a dumb rule.
And I agree. It's
not happening.
Not in the big leagues anyway.
I mean, but really, and I mean, this is the big news all around baseball. Is spring training has really gone into full swing. It's began. All the teams are coming into camp. I mean, this is that type of year. This is the type of time. Do you watch any spring training games? Do you are they televised?
The Mets, their home games are televised, but that's it.
Are they on SNY?
Yeah. But
do you watch them?
Yeah, I'll watch the first 3 innings, and then after that, because
it's not the same.
You know what? It's different this year because you have a lot more prospects. You have Dom Smith, you have Cicchini, you have Rosario, Justin Dunn. I don't know if Anthony Kay is going to be healthy, but you have all these prospects that are going to get in the game in the 5th, 6th, 7th inning. And so maybe watching spring training games this year will be a little bit different in terms of, entertainment.
I remember every year I try and go, I'm going to watch some spring training games this year, and then I get bored.
It's hard to get into it, but like I said, these prospects are going to make you watch it a little bit more.
And you're right. It's just because for some reason, it's just not official.
They don't count, and
they don't count, and it's
the starters play for 2 innings and they're out.
It's but I mean, it's still baseball to watch. I remember watching a few. Just it's just something where it's just so long.
Are you going to watch the WBC?
I think so. I am.
It's competitive baseball.
Because I think I am, and because first of all, I think that the American League, the United States team, isn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be garbage, and I mean, it's not. So, yeah, I'll watch it. Do you know when it starts? It's supposed to be starting up soon.
I believe March 6th, so that's about 2 weeks.
So, I'm definitely gonna watch that. I'm definitely gonna put that on my. I mean, is it like Eastern Standard Time? Are we talking 7 o'clock? Or we have no idea?
Yeah, it's not going to be 8 o'clock in the morning, something crazy like that.
Because I don't know where it's going to be. And how long does this last? It lasts a few weeks,
I think
right?
it goes from March 6th to about, I want to say March 20th. It's about 2 weeks.
I can't wait to see the Ty Kelly at-bats for Team Israel.
Yeah, Team Israel.
And Ike Davis, a bunch of Mets rejects. It's sort of funny to see, but, it's great. And are you getting that feeling again? I'm getting that feeling, especially with the conclusion of the Super Bowl and now you're just
and especially with the 60-degree weather.
Yeah, well,
yesterday.
right now, I mean, even right now, it's not 60. It's like, what is it, 48?
50.
It's about 50 degrees right now.
Mhm.
It's still warmer than it
Beautiful.
was. It's a nice day out.
I went down to the park the other day and I just played catch.
It was
Just good to get out and play
it's
baseball.
beautiful. It's beautiful outside right now, and it's just you're starting to feel
You
it,
get the
and you
feeling.
get get the butterflies.
Yep.
You get all the interviews
I love
from all the players and stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
we got a lot of stuff on that today because it's just like everybody's coming into spring training. All these teams are now getting acquainted. It's sort of weird. I gotta admit, I was looking through some of the photos on SNY, and it's sort of weird seeing Jay Bruce. Like he sort of just still looks out of it
Like
a little bit.
What are you still doing here?
Like, what am I doing here? But speaking about that, I do want to get into it because, I mean, that's pretty much it for general baseball news. It's not really that deep of baseball news this week. It's sort of like spring training. Everyone's here. But here's something interesting. All right, there was a potential Neil Walker deal on the table, and it's big news. It's 3 years, $40 million. It's not official. It's not even close. In fact,
I read the talks are dead now.
yeah, well, that's what I want to report on. The talks are absolutely destroyed. They're dead. It's not. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen in the offseason. And here it is. Mets GM Sandy, and this is today at 10:50. Mets GM Sandy Alderson met with Neil Walker's representatives and basically to work out an extension of the 3 years, $40 million. That's like the number that's being floated around. And it, quote, hit a snag when there was an issue with his 1 year because he signed the qualifying offer. The Mets wanted to restructure that so they would basically take that price down and then just have like, it would just be a lower amount. But like with the contract, I don't know how it would work, but they just wanted that not to be his annual for this year. They wanted it to just lower. And Neil Walker's club, I guess, didn't agree with it. I think, it's not the biggest deal. Second base, again, competition's good, Let's just see what happens. Let's see the year that Neil Walker has. Let's see the year. I mean, I hope it's a good year. I think it's going to be a good year, but let's see the year he has. I'm not... there's no rush to lock up Neil Walker,
No, I mean, he's not like a franchise player,
Yeah.
but, he's a nice little player who I wouldn't mind having around for a couple of years.
First of all, he seems to have adjusted to New York well. He seems like he wants to be here.
Well, he got off to that hot start.
Yeah.
That kind of made everybody forget about Murphy a little bit more.
Yeah,
But
also, like, I think he even said there's no other place I'd rather be, and obviously it's like here in Pittsburgh seemed to be. This is like his second home. He's never been anywhere other than Pittsburgh or New York, and I'm surprised he came here and just adjusted. He adjusted really well. He seems to become a leader in the clubhouse a little bit. It's sort of crazy how fast he's become a leader.
He got off to that awesome start in April, and he struggled a little bit.
Yeah, I remember. I ripped him.
You
when
ripped him. I
struggled.
think he
But
might have
then-
been listening because
then he
right
turned
after
it
you
on.
ripped him, he turned it on.
and then he got hurt.
And yeah, but he all in all, he had a pretty good season, and I'm really interested to see what he does healthy. 150 games this year, 155
Could I just
games.
say that he said this was the first time in his career that he has been felt back pain free. So that's what he said. So apparently, this back pain thing, he's had it forever. He's always had it. So hopefully that just that translates to better numbers.
We'll see.
Because we'll see. But I'm really optimistic this year. I just feel like this year, if the pitching, that's what's going to rely on. It's the pitching. Is that going to stay healthy? But if it is, I mean,
If that rotation stays healthy, there's
there's
no
way.
better
There's
rotation in baseball.
There's just no way that the Mets aren't in there.
That's the problem, though. I mean, you look at these guys; they've got a lot
gosh.
of.
Cespedes brought out his cars today.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he brought
Oh
out
yeah, I
his
did
first
see
car.
that.
I just saw it. I'm looking for future topics for the show because, to be honest, because I wanted to get here, I sort of just flew in here almost. But I don't know. Listen, I'm excited for this year. I really think that the chances are high. I like our chances. I think the teams in the NL East, it's going to be Mets and Nationals this whole year. It's just going to be just like last year, except like it really started to fall off. Like because there was like at a certain point last year, you knew the Mets weren't winning the division. Like there was just like a point where all the pitchers went down, and it was like, all right, now we just hope for the wild card. I really hope that this year is different, where I really want the division. I think that goes to show. I think the Mets fans experienced it last year firsthand, how important the division is, because
you don't want to play in the wild card.
You don't want to do it. We already did it. We lost.
Mm-hmm.
It sucks. You know, you don't want to face a postseason pitcher like Madison Bumgarner,
right.
and he's so experienced and so talented. But even when Noah had better stuff, it's just that Bumgarner is so experienced in his craft of being a postseason pitcher that you don't want to face any teams like that. You don't want to go up against anybody's ace for one game.
No.
It's literally like a coin toss, and it's not a good feeling, and it wasn't a good feeling. The division should be it must be won this year. So I'm hoping for the best. I think it's going to be great. And the fact that a lot of MLB analysts and Fangraph analysts have such disagreement about the Mets and Nationals. It's really a toss-up.
It's tough. I mean, these are two great teams. I think the one weak spot for the Nationals is going to be their bullpen. They legit don't have a closer right now.
Ours is probably going to be health. I mean,
right.
If anything, it's going to be health and it's going to be offense. You know?
But who knows? I mean, it's if you told me the Nationals would win the division this year, I wouldn't be surprised. If you told me the Mets won the division this year, I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised, just like last year.
So
I wouldn't be surprised, just like last year, to see the Mets and Nationals in the postseason.
Yeah.
Of course, they never met.
Right.
But I'm just saying they were both in the postseason, and they're both really, really big win teams.
How'd you like a Mets Nationals NLCS?
That's my dream. Because
that's not my dream.
No, that's my dream. And the Mets winning that. That is the dream. You imagine the Mets win against the Nationals in the NLCS, just seeing Murphy's face as he's got to go home. He's got to go home.
They could play each other in the NLDS. That could happen. But I think an NLCS
Wait, how would that happen again? It would have to be that they wouldn't have the best records.
The winner of the wild card game plays the team with the best record.
So wait, okay, this is what could happen. This is my hypothetical scenario. You have the Cubs facing a wild card team, okay, just a wild card team, and then you just have the Mets and actually no, wait, that's not possible.
That's not possible. They're in the same division.
Actually, wait a minute, no, it's not.
You could have like the Mets Cubs first.
No,
round.
it'd have to be NLCS because they're in the same division.
No, they can still play each other in the first round though.
How?
Because let's say, okay, let's just hypothetically speak. Let's say the Mets win the division.
Yeah.
Right, and they have the best record in the National League, better than the Cubs.
Oh,
better than anybody else.
That's
the Nationals win the wild card game. The Nationals play the team with the best record. It'd be the Mets. It doesn't matter if they're in the. That doesn't matter anymore.
I got it. Wow, that is a huge hypothetical.
Yeah,
could
happen.
I think it would be even more interesting if it was the NLCS though.
So
the rivalry,
it
would be insane. Yeah. Oh, look at that. We got to go to break. I'm like slacking today, but we're going to go to break. We're going to talk about more Mets, Nationals, all that stuff. So stay tuned.
Looking for some informal stress relief and a relaxing way to get to know your neighbors? Try adult coloring. It's like coloring for kids, but harder to stay in the lines. It's on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. in the Port Washington Public Library. For more info, call 516-883-4400 or visit pwpl.org. The community calendar is a public service from your friends at 88.1 FM and WCWP.org.
It's my money.
Catch me outside.
Or you can catch the cool down.
Welcome to my tea party, honey.
Let's talk gossip, celebs, and LGBT news. With only the hottest tea on my WCWP.
It's my money, and you can't have any.
Sometimes it's good to share, but you can achieve and protect your lifetime income. Come down to the Port Washington Public Library on Monday, February 27th at 7 p.m. and learn how. For more info, call 516-883-4400, extension 136, or visit pwpl.org. The community calendar is a public service from your friends at 88.1 FM and WCWP.org.
You're listening to Ace at the Plate on WCWPSports.org.
All right, so we have a story here. David Wright, of course, the captain of the Mets. So he made 30 throws from 60 to 70 feet on the backfield at Tradition Field on Sunday, so yesterday. And he later told reporters that there's still a ways to go before I feel comfortable. And it's going to take some time, but he says he's going to be ready. So that's just sort of like, is that the best case scenario? He's not going to feel comfortable, but he's going to be able to play? Like, what does that mean? I don't feel comfortable. Does it mean that there's pain there? Is that what that means?
It's such a tricky situation with this guy. I think what's going to end up happening, I think it's inevitable. We all know he's probably going to end up playing the first month, if that.
It's so sad.
And he's probably going to get hurt, and then it'll be Reyes' job.
Like
I said, it's sad, but it's probably what's. Look, I wish him the best. I hope he
has a full year.
I hope, full year meaning
he has 80, a good year,
meaning 90 games.
Yeah,
but we'll see. I really don't know.
It's so weird.
I really don't see this guy coming back. I mean, I love him, and I wish him the best, but I just don't. With all these injuries, I just don't see it.
You don't. It's like it's really unfortunate, And
that guy had a Hall of Fame career too, if he stayed healthy.
Now, here's the thing. So here, I'm going to read more into what is the plan, okay? Mm-hmm. The plan is that he will throw every other day and increase distance each time. And then Wright took batting practice alongside Yoenis Cespedes, Jay Bruce, Curtis Granderson. So he's going to throw every other day, so that means he's going to throw tomorrow, or he's going to throw at a further distance. Let's just hope he has a good year, but this is my year for David Wright. It's gonna go one of two ways. I don't think there's a middleman. It's going to be you're out in the first month, or you'll be there for a little bit. You'll be there for like 90 games, like you said. I think 90 games at this point it's even generous to go 90 games, and it's like, I don't know, because he's not the everyday third baseman. It's not that he's not going to play. It's just that he can't play every day.
If he can just stay on the field somehow, some way, if he could just play because when he did play last year, he did have some power.
He didn't look too bad.
He hit 7 home runs.
Some people were saying the strikeouts were up, and it's true they were up.
They were up,
but it's a small sample size, and he had and with the strikeouts up, he had the most steals on the team, which is hilarious.
Yeah,
and he had the highest on base percentage of the whole team, so that's also hilarious.
If he can play 3 times a week, and you get 90 games out of the guy, that's a steal.
That's a steal,
amazing,
And here's a good season for David Wright, like 250. Like if he could hit like
13
250,
homers.
if he like that type of year, like that's a year I'll take it. Like I'll take 250, like
15 homers, maybe
like 15, not 20. Like you gotta go low with this guy. 250, and that's even high. Like that's high for a Met. It's sad, but that's high. Like usually Mets hit around like 260, 270.
Yep.
He hit like 250. He usually hits around like 270, 280.
We'll see. This guy.
We'll see.
He's unpredictable.
He's never
now.
been on the field. It's been, how long has it been now? It's been like 2 seasons of him not being on the field.
I can't even remember his last game. When was his last game?
I can't remember, dude. It was so early in 2016. It was so early. It was. I don't even think we cracked the first month. Maybe we did. Maybe it was in May, but. I don't know, dude. It was just really, really quick. But it's just so sad. I hope that he, I hope that he gets into a groove because he's the cat.
For his sake.
And you know what? It's his presence that's even more important. I think it's his presence. It's not only his on-field performance. I mean, it is that. I mean, he does when he contributes on the field. It's for the team and stuff.
I could see David Wright being the manager one day.
Again, I could see that. I'm just saying it's his presence in the clubhouse. He's the undisputed leader in the clubhouse. If he says something, it's gonna go. And I'm not saying he's like a bossy person. I'm just saying that
no, he's got say though.
He's got say. He's the longest tenured Met in the clubhouse right now. Yeah. He's just the guy where it's just something. That's just how it is in all baseball clubhouses. There's a guy. Okay, there's always a guy that somebody the rookie's gonna look up to, and the veteran players are gonna respond to. If he says something, it's gonna have weight. So he's the captain of the team, and this is it's a big year for him. It's a big year for the Mets. And I think the worst part about him being hurt is not even him playing. I just think they miss his presence. I think the presence is a big thing. So hopefully he could stay on the field and
just stay around in general.
It's just unfortunate.
Yeah.
It's really unfortunate. So another story. I know we're sort of shotgunning it through, but Bryce Harper talking about not worried about the Mets. Did you see this story?
I did not.
He's not worried about the Mets or Noah Syndergaard's Instagram comments because I don't know if you know about this.
I'm just looking at the picture of him right now. He's such a douche.
Yeah, he's not.
He's
really.
such a bag of douche.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
God.
Let me tell you what. Let me just fill in our listeners just in case they don't know what's going on. So maybe it was like it was like 3 months ago, I can't remember how many months ago, but
2 months
he
ago.
had he had a picture. He put something on
Ohio State.
Instagram.
He was going to the Ohio State game.
Yeah, so Bryce Harper, I don't know. I didn't even watch the video. I just know that Noah Syndergaard, he commented douche, because he's a douche. And
He's a douche.
he basically, Bryce Harper came out to say, he's like, I don't know what Syndergaard does, and I don't know what the Mets do. Something like, so we're going to worry about. He was basically saying we're going to do what we're going to do in our clubhouse, and we're not going to worry about anything else but winning ball games. Basically like that.
Trying
And
to
then
be
he was
politically
like,
correct. Yeah.
no, but then he was like, and here's something. They're a great talent over there. We're going to have some fun this year and hopefully enjoy what we do against them. So basically, it's just a bit of rivalry.
Did he say something?
He said something else.
Did he said something along the lines of I wasn't smiling when I saw it, or something like
let's
that.
see.
He said when I read the comment, I was not smiling.
Well, here's what Syndergaard said.
Well,
This is
obviously
interesting. Here's what Syndergaard said. Bryce and I aren't buddy-buddy, but we see each other out. We acknowledge each other. Sort of weird.
It's weird, man. I don't even know what's going on there.
Everybody loves a bit of rivalry. He and I have the same goal, to make baseball fun again. Draw more fans, draw more excitement to the game. That's sort of what that's sort of what they've been about, though. Bryce Harper remember he was like, make baseball fun
Make it fun
again.
again.
Expression. And I agree with him. And, I'm just going to, listen. Screw Bryce Harper. He's a loser. He hit 240. Did he hit 243 last year? I think he hit 243. Maybe it was just against.
He didn't have a great year.
He didn't have a good year.
But especially after an MVP year.
That was a terrible year compared to his 2015 season.
Yeah.
Do you think he's going to have a good year? Do you really see him do you think he's going to come back?
Statistically speaking, yeah, because it's weird because 2014 he had kind of an off year. 2015 he won the MVP. 2016 he had an off year. So you think he's due for a good year, right?
Yeah,
but,
it's sort of like he goes off and on. I just
think
think
when is he a free agent?
2020 or 2019. No, I think it's actually the end of the 2018 season.
Okay.
So around 2019, I believe. This is like his second to last year with the Nationals.
I mean, he's going to be playing for a contract too. Don't forget that. So
no, not this year. Next year.
Well, I know, but still, I mean,
Well, you're right. I mean, no one wants to have a bad year, and
so, I think he'll have a good year, but especially
MVP levels.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't think so.
But
but
he does have a lot of protection in that lineup with Murphy.
Yeah,
and
here's the thing: Murphy can't have that repeat.
No, there's no way. I say
he'll hit 280.
I say he hits 300.
Yeah, he might even hit 300, but I don't know what he hit. I gotta look this up.
He batted 325.
Yeah, that's insane.
With what?
Did he win the? He
25
didn't win the
homers?
batting title, or did he win the batting title? Because I don't remember.
I don't know. He
reporting
should have won something.
I'm telling you.
I still believe he should have won MVP because the Nationals go nowhere without him. Or at least not as far as I don't know if they win the division with Murphy.
See, and here's the thing: what do you think about MVP next year? Because I have a few guys who could win MVP. It could be Chris Bryant, could be Anthony Rizzo.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't know if that's his name, but that one other guy, Rizzo, on the
Cubs.
Yeah, is it Anthony Rizzo?
Anthony Rizzo.
Yeah. I think the Nationals GM is named Anthony Rizzo. That's
why.
Mike
Mike
Rizzo.
Rizzo. Yeah.
All these Rizzos, I keep confused. I'm like, is that him? But yeah, they're two good players. You think the Cubs will win their division? Yeah, right.
Yeah,
they'll win their division.
They're not going to win.
They're not going to win the division. We'll see. We'll see about the Indians. We'll see about all these teams. It's just crazy
unless they have a crazy amount of injuries.
The talent.
They're just so talented, and they have a lot of depth. And
but I'm saying the talent around the game right now is insane. You got, the pitchers.
A lot of good young players.
I think some of these pitchers are it just feels like there's an ace on every staff. There's it feels like.
Well, the Mets have 4 aces.
Well, the Mets have 4.
The
young Nationals
aces.
have some really good, Max Scherzer, Strasburg. The Red Sox are Chris Sale, whatever his name is. I forget his name. Whatever. Fuck it. Whatever.
And the Braves have Bartolo.
Yeah, and the Braves have Bartolo. The Marlins had Fernandez. The Phillies, I don't think they have anyone, actually. I don't think the Phillies have anyone. But I'm just saying there's a bunch of guys on staffs that are really good. This is going to be – I'm just so excited for this year. I just can't believe it's not baseball season yet. It is, but
I feel
it's
like
not.
It's going slow.
It's slow. It really – I think last year was also slow, but this year it just seems like, I'm ready for it. You know, I'm ready to report on the first game.
Yep.
I'm ready for opening day. I'm ready to just 7 o'clock. I think it's gonna be 7 o'clock. I don't know. It just that 7 o'clock is when I'm used to just shutting out everything. My girlfriend already knows. Don't call me. I'm gonna be watching the game. Actually, I call her on commercial break. She gets so mad because I'm either just calling her and then after 2 minutes and 45 seconds, I'm just hanging up. It's sort of funny. What do you do?
You can't miss a pitch.
What do you do during? I mean, you usually go, but when do you go at home? You sit in your room. You got
no, I sit in my den. You got
a den.
I watch it.
You watch with your dad, right?
Watch with my dad. So
that's fun.
Yeah, it's good. We got a nice little setup in there. I got I don't know how big my TV is, but it's a big TV, and it's like the Met room. We got a Met table, night table that we put our beers on. It's great. It's fun. So it's not so fun. When I watch it with my girlfriend, she's like, you're paying more attention to the game than you are to me.
Does she like it? Does she watch?
She likes going to the games.
Yeah.
She loves going to the games.
But she hates sitting in front of the TV.
Watching it on TV, she's not.
Yeah. I mean,
Which is understandable.
Yeah. Yeah. My girlfriend, we would watch it. I would watch it.
You guys got to go
sometime. Be watching it. Yeah. They're actually really fun to go for the dates and stuff, and it would be cool. But it's oh, I'm just so excited. I literally have been thinking about the Mets all day, every day. When I'm not thinking about the Mets, I'm talking about the Mets. It's so funny because everybody who goes here, you notice everybody who goes here, all the people in my classes, they're all ginormous Met fans. It's sort of funny.
Really?
Do you notice that? No, you don't. I guess you're not a broadcasting major.
No, I'm not a broadcasting major, but I do notice a lot of Met fans.
There's a lot of Met fans here. It's this is like a Met fan breeding ground. It's I go here. I mean, the people we have on the show are just coincidentally Met fans.
Yeah.
But I meet these people. And it's just are you a baseball fan? Yeah. And I was are you a Met fan?
Well, I think this kind of...
Is this I
think this kind of happened over the past 3 years.
Really?
I think a lot of people have kind of jumped on bandwagon.
Yeah. And it's a good thing.
Yeah.
And you know what else? And this is something I notice here, and a lot of people here are Islanders fans. Because the Islanders played in Long Island for a long time. Right. Now they're in Brooklyn, but I'm just saying... So it's when you're an Islander fan, you're a Met fan. When you're, you know what I'm saying?
Usually how it goes.
Right?
You see some Ranger fan, Met fans.
I don't see that.
You see, it's actually, you see a lot of giant, football giant and Met fans, which is weird.
But you don't see Jet, but I see a lot of Jet Met fans.
I feel that's usually how it is. But you surprisingly see a lot of Met giant fans too.
Yeah.
So I feel it should be Mets, Jets, Islanders, Yankees, Giants, Rangers. I feel that's what it should be.
Is there another team?
I feel
what about the Knicks?
Everybody's a Knicks fan.
Yeah. But then there's the Nets that no one cares about. I don't think I've ever met a Net fan.
Evan Roberts.
I know. That's it. Evan from from the
Joe and Evan.
Yeah, Joe and Evan. He's the Net. I think he's the only Net fan.
He's the only Net fan I know. Yeah.
And they're really bad. They're worse than
awful.
the Knicks.
They're worse than
the Knicks are bad.
Yeah. I like college basketball.
Yeah, I know. You like St. John's.
Yeah, I can't get into the NBA.
Is there a reason? Is there
St. John's?
No, is there a reason why you can't get into the NBA?
Because they don't play defense.
Oh, okay.
I feel I just can't get into it. They don't they'll get the ball. Did you see the All-Star game last night? Or hear about it?
Dude.
The final score was 192 to 182.
So it just happens.
That's not how regular season games are. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, but they just don't play defense. The games you see, Duke versus North Carolina, St. John's versus Villanova, these big games, that's the way basketball should be played. Defense.
There's just no defense.
Man to man. NBA is just I just can't get into it.
And
anyway, that's just me.
Getting back into baseball,
yeah.
I just was curious. I really was. But so yeah, I mean, everyone saw I go on Mets blog, you go on MLB Trade Rumors, you go on all these Mets sites. Mm-hmm. And everyone is we're going to win the World Series. I mean, I'm looking at a story right here. Cespedes says Mets have a great chance. He brought his car in today. Yeah. He said that he bought a few horses over the offseason.
Look, I'm confident. I'm confident the Mets will get into the playoffs. But the playoffs, MLB playoffs are such a crapshoot.
It is.
You could just have a bad week and you lose in the 5-game series.
Speaking about other sports, you go in, we were just talking about basketball. I feel like the basketball playoffs are who's going to win from the start.
Oh, yeah.
You know it's going to be the Cavs and the Warriors.
An 8 seed is not going to beat a 1 seed. It's not going to happen.
it's just one of those things about, and I don't know about football. Like, did no one expected the Atlanta team? I don't know. Like, I don't know. Is it a crapshoot in football?
No, I think football playoffs are really good.
Okay,
I think
good.
they're really competitive.
But basketball, I know for a fact, because people have been saying, why watch the season when it's going to be Cavs and Warriors, and then they're right. Mm-hmm. So I think it's because there is one guy that gets to carry the team.
And if not the Warriors, then the Spurs or something.
Yeah, so the baseball playoffs, I think, are just, like you said, a complete crapshoot, where you really never know. But that's good. It's
because
good.
You can't predict it.
Because then again, because then again, it would just be the team with the most money. If
NHL hockey playoffs, they're the same exact way. You have no idea what's going to happen.
No idea, and it just sort of makes it fun, and it makes it good, and it makes some magical moments where, like, again, teams that are just completely. I mean, it's not just the playoffs; it's baseball in general. The whole time we say that the Mets are going to win the division, or the Nationals are going to win the division. Or we say, something can happen out of nowhere.
Yeah, they could, but then you get in a 5-game series, you get swept.
Yeah.
Like, it could happen. You could just have a bad 5 games.
You could have, like, again, it's so weird. And by the way, it's so criminal. The Fangraphs have the Mets, like, getting destroyed. I don't know why.
Let them. I'd rather have low expectations than everybody expecting this.
But that's how the Mets
dynasty.
won. That's how the Mets got into their spot anyway. When everyone in 2015, everyone counted. And I mean, it was fair. The Nationals looked like the better team. I mean, let's be honest. The first half of 2015.
They were until the Mets got Cespedes.
And they started hitting and things started to click. But, I mean, but I'm just saying, it's very – baseball is just very out there. The Mets could be – I think the NL East is just the biggest freaking coin toss it ever has been. It has never been a bigger coin toss than this. I can't think in 2016, I guess we were talking about a coin toss, but then we saw the injuries and we didn't want to admit it, but slowly but surely it was looking like the Nationals were going to win the division, and they did. Mm-hmm. And especially because the Mets, let's be honest, last year, Mets played so badly against the Nationals. I mean, do you remember there were games I was getting so hyped. Mets are facing the Nationals, 2016. We were just out of the World Series. Mets played awful against the Nationals, and Murphy killed them in every series. Every series, Murphy.
The Nationals owned the Mets last year.
It was
pretty bad.
It was really. I'm gonna look up the numbers of how bad it was because it was really bad. By the way, Familia. This is a good story. Familia leaves camp again for MLB's investigations. What are they actually doing?
I don't know.
Interviewing these people?
I have no idea.
Like, it's just sort of weird because he can't be on the grounds. He can't be doing anything in any organization when MLB does these investigations. So he actually has to leave camp. And then like, I guess they're investigating, and then they stop, and then he comes back. Is he gonna? He's training as he's the closer, but he's not gonna be there opening day.
Right.
So that's a big question mark. So we'll see what happens. But then again, any of these closers are better than what the Nationals are going to end up having on opening day, unless something happens.
Well, who do you think the Mets closer is going to be?
I think it's going to be.
Addison Reed.
Well, here's the thing. Addison Reed, does he have closer experience? He does, right?
I think he does. I think he did a little bit with the Diamondbacks.
Didn't Salas close for the Cardinals?
He did, but I don't trust him as a closer.
He's just not the guy.
Yeah.
Let's just see what happens in camp, because Addison Reed was really good as the setup guy.
Who knows? Maybe they give Justin Dunn the call. Probably not. But
it's worth exploring.
Probably
I think
not,
anything at this point.
The kid hasn't played further than single A, so probably not.
But he's destroying. He looks good. He looks like a good pickup.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just saying, there are a bunch of guys. You know.
I think they have depth. They'll be okay.
They have depth. This is like the first time in a while they have depth. It's sort of crazy, and we'll see what happens. I really am really excited. Did you hear about that story about Cologne, by the way? Cologne, he thought he was going to stay in New York until like a little while, and then he was like, you know what? They're not going to offer me. They have all this depth, so he left. But, it's going to be fun facing him. He's going to get an ovation when he comes.
Oh, absolutely.
He's going to get an ovation.
He's one of the most loved Mets I've ever.
It's so crazy because, like, they signed him in 2014, right? I think that's when they signed him.
Right.
And
right.
What were you thinking? Like, did you think anything of it? Did you think this is just going to be
they signed him to that 2-year deal.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right.
Yeah.
Nice little signing. I think he'll help the rotation a little bit, but I didn't think he'd turn into
You didn't think he would turn into this. This was like one of those Sandy. This was one of those Sandy signings that worked out.
Yeah, it's good.
Because it was, again, he pitched the 2 years, then we signed him again, and then I'll tell you what, if it wasn't for Gazoman and Lugo, he'd be here. Yeah. But I mean, I'm happy that we.
I'll tell you, Sandy has pulled some things out of his sleeve the past couple of years.
What a GM!
Last year, I remember he traded for Neil Walker, and then literally 5 hours later, he signed Asdrubal Cabrera.
I mean, the guy, and he plays the waiting game,
right? And he
flirts with danger.
I was like, wait a second. I was like, we just got. We just got a second baseman, a shortstop. I'm like, but don't we already have a short? But Alderson has a plan, man. He's got,
my gosh,
and
we're losing.
Some of the things he's been able to do have been really, really
All right,
good.
Well, we're going to take a break, and we're going to see you back here in however long it takes. We'll be right back.
Looking for some informal stress relief and a relaxing way to get to know your neighbors? Try adult coloring. It's like coloring for kids, but harder to stay in the lines. It's on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. in the Port Washington Public Library. For more info, call 516-883-4400 or visit pwpl.org. The community calendar is a public service from your friends at 88.1 FM and WCWP.org.
Catch me outside.
Or you can catch the cool down.
Welcome to my tea party, honey.
Let's talk gossip, celebs, and LGBT news. LGBT news. With only the hottest tea on my WCWP.
It's my money, and you can't have any.
Sometimes it's good to share, but you can achieve and protect your lifetime income. Come down to the Port Washington Public Library on Monday, February 27th at 7 p.m. and learn how. For more info, call 516-883-4400, extension 136, or visit pwpl.org. The community calendar is a public service from your friends at 88.1 FM and WCWP.org.
You're listening to Ace at the Plate on WCWPSports.org.
So, I was just talking with Joe on break, and I think it's really funny. So, John Neese signs with the Yankees, and it's not a major league deal. It's a minor league deal. He's sort of a loser. And it's sort of funny. The guy is a loser, but wow, he shaved his beard. And Joe was showing me a picture because, the Yankees have this policy where you have to shave your beard.
Right.
So, sort of weird seeing him. You know who he looks like? An Atlanta Brave. He looks like an Atlanta Brave. He's from Atlanta.
That country. No, he's from Ohio.
Oh.
But he's kind of got that, country look to him.
He's in Yankees camp to be a... What is it? Minor league pitcher. So
he's gonna
earn your way back.
He's going to have a shot at that rotation because what's their rotation looking like?
Yeah, but here's the thing: you have CC, but you're not just taking out CC. He's got this.
No, what's the rotation? You got Sabathia. They're going to expect Severino to be in that rotation. If
Severino's not ready, then you can make a case for slotting in Neese.
Tanaka.
Yep.
Who else?
People could get hurt. Don't get me wrong. People could get hurt.
I think John Neese could be in that rotation.
John Neese.
But you know what?
Rotation. Feel bad for the infielders.
You know what? He's a fly ball pitcher, and fly ball pitcher in Yankee Stadium, no way.
This is not good. This isn't good. This doesn't spell good. This doesn't spell good things for the New York Yankees. But the Yankees... It's sort of weird saying that. The New York Yankees. We never talk about the Yankees on the show.
Never.
Because it's such a Mets show. And the Yankees are not, expected to do a lot this year besides possibly steal a wild card spot. It's still a lot, but even then, it's a long shot of them getting anywhere close to the postseason, especially with Boston now. They're the clear winners of that division. There's no way that Boston doesn't win that division unless, barring super injury, all of their starters get hurt, and then, they just look like a lock. And then, there are good teams in the American League that are probably going to take the 2 wild card spots.
The AL East is a pretty competitive division, so we'll see.
But not only that, you got the Mariners. If they don't win their division, there are some teams that, you know what, I wouldn't count them out. The Yankees just don't. They're just, listen. I'm not blaming the Yankees. It's just that they're just a few years away. They're not there yet. So when they get there, they'll get there. But for right now, they're just not the team to be talking about when you talk New York Mets.
I mean,
New York baseball.
I think the Yankees have some good pieces. I like what they did with
Oh,
Carter.
Oh my gosh!
I like what they did with Holiday, and I really like the prospects they have. They have Clint Frazier.
They're gonna platoon him.
Kid Torres at shortstop. They've got a lot of Aaron Judge too. I wouldn't consider him a prospect.
Don't get me wrong.
He's been in the bigs. But
they've got good pieces.
You got Greg Bird coming back. I mean, they've got some good pieces out there.
It's just that I think this
it's
is
just their rotation is just not.
It's really bad. I mean,
I'm not gonna say it's bad.
I'm gonna say it's bad. All right, because you have. I'm gonna say.
I'm gonna come out and say it's bad.
I'm gonna say it's bad because CC is like, what is this guy? I mean, sometimes he actually has good outings.
He reinvented himself a little bit last year.
Yeah.
He kind of took a little bit off his fastball. He's really not breaking more than 90 miles an hour.
Yeah, he's a different guy.
Tanaka, he's hitting his spots. He actually. CC Sabathia at the beginning of last year was actually pretty.
Did he get hurt again?
Strong. I don't know if he got hurt. I don't know.
I don't know. We just don't know.
We don't
keep up with we don't keep up with CC.
I don't keep up with them as much as
I know that I remember the big story. He went into AA. He went into that rehab thing right before that wild card.
Yeah,
they got obliterated.
That was bad timing.
Yeah, but it's not like he was going to pitch it anyway. And
Tanaka.
No, yeah, Tanaka pitched it.
Pineda.
But the thing about Tanaka is that he could break his arm in like any second. I mean, there are Yankee fans still talking about they just don't like to see him pitch because it's just like, first of all, he's not the guy they signed. I think
he was really good in 2015, but then he got hurt, and
that was it.
That was it.
No, it's not that he's bad. It's just that he's not as good as he was, and because he never got the Tommy John surgery. I don't know why he never did. It just wasn't needed. He hasn't been the same guy. There's no question. He hasn't been. I remember seeing him in 2014. I think he won like 20-something games.
Yeah, he was really good.
And I was like, this guy is crazy good. Right. I don't know. The Yankees signed someone really good, and then what happened? He's just not here anymore. So he's just not at that point. Severino, what happened to him last year? He fell off, right?
He kind of played the role of a long man in the bullpen. He was kind of like our Gazelman.
Yeah, but it's sort of weird because I remember they were hyping him up.
Yeah, don't get me wrong.
I saw some Yankee Matt Harvey for Severino trades. Like
he's only 22, and I really think I saw him pitch against the Mets last year. He's got a good future. I think he's got a power arm. Throws 95 to 97. He's got a good hard slider. That's his bread and butter. That's what he uses. He's got like a Matt Harvey slider.
Yeah.
And they're expecting him to take some strides this year. I don't know what to expect. I don't know what they're going to expect, but if he could go into that rotation and possibly get 20 starts, they're expect. But you have to keep in mind he's only 22 years old, so we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's a young guy. I'm not saying he's done. I'm just saying he fell off. He had a bad year, and that's normal. I mean, some people, they have the sophomore slump. I mean, Jacob deGrom didn't have it, but I mean, I don't think Jacob deGrom has had a bad year yet. I mean, he pitched well until he got hurt. And then we'll see this year.
deGrom's only been in the league for, 2 years?
I'm just saying the Mets actually have a bigger window than we think. I'm not saying it's that long, but I'm just saying, like, Matt Harvey's not a free agent for another 2 years.
Right.
So
we have Syndergaard till 2020.
I mean, Syndergaard, the best pitchers are still. I mean, I think DeGrom's after Harvey. DeGrom's like a year after or 2 years after.
DeGrom came in 2014.
So. I remember seeing his debut. He pitched.
I was at his debut.
He pitched against the Yankees, right?
Yeah.
I remember
they lost 1-0.
It's sort of funny because I remember seeing DeGrom and I remember seeing the other guy. Whatever his name is, they both came up at the same time. And
Chase Whitley, I think.
No.
Are you talking about for the Yankees or
for the Mets? What's his name? That guy sucks. That's why I don't know his name anymore because he sucks.
He came up at the same time as DeGrom.
He has that problem. He's that pitcher. He had like a shoulder thing that wasn't real. Yeah, Montero. Him and Montero came up at like the same time. Do you remember in 2014? It was such an obscure year.
Yeah, it was an obscure year.
And I'm like. I remember
Montero did come up.
I remember thinking, wow, he actually had a good few games, and I was like, okay, DeGrom, like, who is this kid? I never heard of this kid. Who is this guy?
I had no idea. They were like,
who is this guy?
They were thinking about putting him in the bullpen, and they're like, giving him the start against the Yankees was kind of like, we're just desperate. We need a starter.
That's what I thought. Who is this guy?
Right, so they put in DeGrom, and I'm like, wow, this guy is awesome.
I remember I'm like, oh, who is this starting against the Yankees? And then it was a bullpen guy, and he was only supposed to have that temporary. I'm like, all right, like let's see how he is. Like, I wasn't confident. I'm like, who is this guy?
It's so weird. He came up when he was 26. I mean, and like nobody, like how does nobody notice this?
Nobody
guy?
knows this kid. I mean, nobody.
I mean, they do now, but
no. But I'm saying like. I mean, in 2014, you had no idea who this kid was. He's pitching against the Yankees.
I had no idea who he was until
I had
2
no
days
idea.
before the start.
I looked.
Never heard of him.
No, I looked, right? They announced DeGrom is going to start. I'm like, who is this guy? Why are they starting him against the Yankees? Like, what's going on? Who is this kid? Okay? Against the Subway Series, they're going to throw this weirdo out here, okay? Little Beanstalk. I'm like, who is this guy? Never heard of him. Not even heard of him. That was the crazy part. The kid's going to start against the Yankees. I never heard about him in the farm system. Like, I must have glanced over him.
I didn't hear of him at spring training, nothing.
This guy appeared out of nowhere. It seemed like he appeared out of thin air. And he's just been a rock-solid person in this rotation ever since.
He's been awesome. And I think one of the things that really put him on the map was his performance in the All-Star game, in the 2015 All-Star game. Oh, my
gosh.
Do you remember that?
Yeah. I have it. Dude, he should have started. It was that good.
If you look it up on YouTube, he struck out the side on 10 pitches.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus.
Yeah. It was, he looked great. I remember the vines, all right? I remember the vines right after. People were like, oh, my gosh, DeGrom.
And the ball was like exploding out of his hand.
I mean,
it was
honestly, it was one of the greatest pitches I've ever seen him throw. And it was like sort of weird because it was in the All-Star game, but it was like.
He just let it loose.
And he sort of like.
And that kind of put him on the map. I was like, okay, this guy is no joke.
A lot of people say that they're reminded, in a way, him of like Koosman because he was sort of like the understar. Like DeGrom is very an introvert personality. You know, when he was the ace, he was the ace. It's not like he was taken away from it. It's just that Syndergaard is that much better now. But when he was the ace, like, because remember people were like Matt Harvey's the ace, and then DeGrom was the ace, and then now Syndergaard is the undisputed. It's not even close. It's not even close. Noah Syndergaard is the ace of the New York Mets, and Noah Syndergaard is the pitcher that you need to sign. If you're going to sign one guy to a long-term deal, it's Noah Syndergaard. And by the way, that kid seems like he's having the time of his life in New York. These past few years,
Noah Syndergaard.
He's sitting, he's doing what Matt Harvey sort of did. He's like, remember, there's like this picture of him, I'm never gonna forget. He's like on the Islanders' ice, like in the middle.
Yeah,
like,
he's like,
well,
he did it with the Islanders. He did it with the Knicks. He did it in the end zone at Giant Stadium.
He's
so
like
he's
going
just loving
everywhere.
It.
He's like going everywhere. Yeah. He's like, he comes in here. He has this fake rivalry with like the Met mascot, Mr. Met.
Yeah.
He has his own show,
and he hates the Wave.
No,
he
hates the wave. No, but he has his own show.
Does he really?
Yeah, he has his own show on SNY. It's like his own segment. It's like
I think I know what you're talking about.
Something with Coke, and he does these funny.
He does
skits.
it in the Coca-Cola corner.
Yeah,
it's great.
It's sort of like. The guy is sort of having the time of his life right now.
He is.
And he's
God
pitching
bless
great.
him.
And it's like, I can't wait to see him. He's starting opening day against, I think it's the Braves. Yeah. That's going to be fun. That's actually a good matchup.
I'm trying to get tickets for that game. It's a tough ticket. It's
because who are the Braves going to throw out there?
Probably.
How funny would it be if
Tehran?
It's going to be Tehran, but it would be funny if
who
it was
owns
Cologne.
the Mets, by the way.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. It's opening day.
So it's going to be, but we don't know the rest of the rotation. By the way, we don't know who's going to go next. We don't know. Terry Collins only announced Syndergaard, so
I would imagine. I'm not trying to speak for him, but I would imagine it's Syndergaard, DeGrom, Harvey, Matz, and then that fifth spot's either going to go to Lugo or Gazelman.
Yeah,
like Wheeler's going to start.
You know, I was listening to WFAN and I was really curious. Someone brought up this point, and I think it's a really good point. What do you think about a 6-man rotation for like? In the middle of the year, or maybe even to start the year.
Well, you can afford to do it
because here's the thing, right? It's all about pitching health. If Zach Wheeler cracks the rotation, I say you do it because then you could just have. You could probably. You think Gazelman's going to be in the bullpen? I think Gazelman's going to be in the pen
as a long man.
Yeah, I think he could. I think he's more suited for the pen. And then you could have Lugo and Wheeler in the rotation.
Right.
And I know the pitchers don't like it. They've said they don't like it, but it's their arms. I mean, maybe at least after the All-Star break or something, you put 6-man rotation. Because for me, I just think it's the arm health. I just think I don't want these guys getting destroyed like we did 2016. What do you think about the 6-man?
They can certainly afford to do it, barring no injury, because you have guys like Wheeler, Gazelman, Lugo. I mean, you could easily fit in a six-man rotation. I think it's a good idea, especially midway through the season when
Right?
you're trying to save the innings
It
on
just
guys
seems like it seems like a good idea.
Syndergaard.
And by the way, let's just again, we're assuming that he makes it in. Zach Wheeler, he's going to be on like the strictest innings limit, like stricter than Matt Harvey, because the guy doesn't have an arm. It's like freaking glass.
I mean, it's
so,
going to fall off.
I think they actually said like 180 innings, like really.
He's another
low.
one. I don't know what to expect from him.
And again, we should talk about this. We never talked about it, but he got hurt. Or it wasn't hurt. It was like tenderness in his elbow.
Yeah, tenderness in his
and
elbow.
then he pitched. And then he pitched the other day. Is it more a mentality thing where it's sort of like Steven Matz where it's just in your head? Like you want to feel 100%? Or do you think this guy just has like arm problems?
Well, don't forget.
crazy?
I mean, the guy hasn't consistently. I mean, now in spring training, he's throwing every day. He's consistently throwing.
Yeah.
And he hasn't done that in 2 years. So there's going to be aches and pains no matter what. I mean, this, like I said, this is the first time he's throwing in 2 years. So I think he's just got to work the rust off, and I wouldn't be too concerned about what you heard the other day. But
that was
at the same time, you got to be precautious.
Because the other day, people were saying his career's over. He's done. That's it.
those are the crazy Met fans.
Like
I mean,
literally, they're like, "That's."
I mean,
it.
I'm not gonna lie. When I heard it, I was just like, "Oh, this crap again."
Yeah, oh my gosh, because like the guy's never gonna pitch.
I think that just comes with the territory for someone who hasn't pitched in 2 years.
Yeah,
these guys.
I think that's
these guys are
rational.
throwing every day.
I mean, and he's throwing. I don't know how hard he's throwing, but I mean, you're throwing. You haven't done it in 2 years. I think your body's just getting used to it again. I think this is just.
Yeah.
I don't think any pitcher these days feels 100%. I don't think any of them do.
I mean, your arm is physically not supposed to throw overhand. Like it's not. It's not physically.
It wouldn't make sense if, let's just say, like all these pitchers, all these flamethrowers are feeling 100% when they go out there. There's no way.
No way.
So I think that's part of the thing that Matt's learned. Like I think Matt's for some reason felt that. Remember, he was like out all the time, and he was like, "Man, my arm" or something. But I just think that as the season went on, he just sort of learned to deal with it because you just have to deal with it. There comes a point where you have to deal with it. So. I mean, it's funny to say, but this episode is sort of weird because it's like it's President's Day. It's like there's no one here, and it's also weird because where's the frickin' baseball? Like where I want to.
Well, this Saturday is their first game, so that'll be fun, or at least it's their first televised game.
And it's next week.
So,
and it's against who? Boston.
Boston.
Yeah.
So that'll be
interesting. I'll probably turn. Do you know what time?
Yeah, hold on. I'm just looking at the schedule. I think it should be at like 1 o'clock.
Yeah,
so
let's do that. Let's 1 o'clock on Saturday. Yeah, I mean, let's give it a shot.
Actually, they're playing Boston on Friday at 1 o'clock, but it's not televised. And then they're playing the Nationals on Saturday at 1 o'clock. That will be televised. That'll be on SNY.
Okay. They're gonna play that. I'll tune into.
Yeah, I mean, it's just preseason. Nobody cares.
I want to see Bryce Harper. I want to see him like not hit any Mets pitchers because he never does. I think
I'd rather him hit them in spring training than in the real season. So.
Oh my gosh, dude! Bryce Harper, the Nationals,
baby Bryce.
It feels like it's saying. I mean, think about it. We're in February right now. February's gonna end soon. Like, come on. I mean, like. It's just, can we just start this crap already? I mean, this is getting...
Well, that's kind of why I'm happy the World Baseball Classic is going on, because it's competitive baseball that guys are going to care about. And, it's not like spring training. Spring training kind of gets tedious,
Yeah, it's just like, I'm just waiting for opening day. Again, we haven't watched a baseball game in like 5 or 6 months. So it just feels, I feel empty. I'm so used to just being. I mean, now I'm not used to it because I haven't done it in a while. But it's sort of like weird how I rotate, and it's just sort of like for like a while I just haven't watched a baseball game, and it's just There's something about baseball, dude. It's so relaxing. You go home and especially
it's suspenseful.
Yeah,
it's like what's gonna happen now?
Well, here's the thing. It's like people say baseball is a boring sport, and it's like it's really not. It's like boring until like there are like parts of baseball that are like just stupid. Like they're boring, I guess. Like when it's just like 1, 2, 3, the Mets are getting shut out.
Like a pitcher throwing over to first base 4 times in a row. Like that gets stupid.
I'll tell you what isn't boring, like when it's like suspenseful, when you have a runner on second, there's 2 outs. Is he gonna get the hit? Like that's the type of thing.
Or bases loaded.
What I think about baseball is it's long periods of time of intensity. You know, that's what it is. There's like intensity for a long period of time, and then it will just go back down to 0 when the new inning starts. That's just sort of like how it is. So it's just so fun to watch. I miss it. It really is like so much of my identity because like this is what I do. You know, I have a show on it. I talk about it all the time. The Mets are like my life right now.
Yeah,
it's sort of funny. It's just sort of like I wear a Mets. I'm wearing my Mets ring right now. I wear it every Monday for the show. It's like I'm just so excited. I'm so ready to dip, to be honest. But you know, to be honest, guys, we're gonna wrap it up because it's 5:00. So we're going to see you next week, hopefully with the full cast of characters. Hopefully Ty can come back. He was really cool.
Yeah.
So we're going to see you next week, and let's go Mets, and let's just hope that we finally get some baseball action coming up.
Life on Earth is expensive, but it does include a free trip around the sun. Take advantage of this trip and learn about the New York Sun Program, an initiative to fund solar energy for individuals and communities. It's on Wednesday, March 8th at 7 p.m. in the Locust Valley Public Library. For more info, call 516-671-1837 or visit locustvalleylibrary.org. The community calendar is a public service from your friends at 88.1 FM and WCWP.org.
Youth is a gift of nature, but age is a work of art. Learn to appreciate life after retirement through the arts and entertainment on Senior Moments. Tune in every Tuesday morning at 11 right here on 88.1 FM and WCWP.org.
WCWP Brookville, 88.1 FM, WCWP.org. Public radio that rocks.